All right, and here we are. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams, and we are back. Hello, friends. See, I did it. All right. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. We are back. We have a great episode today. I'm super excited about it. We have a returning guest and a new guest, and actually this segment is a little different than we've done in the past, but I'm really excited about it. And man, I just can't thank my guests enough for being here. Terin and Bret Andrus. Now, some of y'all are going to remember Bret because he was on an extremely popular show that we did.
It has to be your most viewed show. I haven't gone back and done the research on it, but is it? I mean,
I think it is. I don't have data behind that, but I know a lot of people were listening to it when we were driving to Squire Creek for a golf trip.
It had to beat the Varus group. Another episode, right?
I need to check the data, but I will let you know, and then I'll let Greg know, and then if it's too close to call, we'll have a rematch.
It sounds great. Yeah,
I know. I watched like 10 times
of mine.
Yeah,
of ours. Yeah. So
and we had 11 views. So okay. No, it was a popular one,
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having us back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Back for a little bit different reason.
Yeah, very different. Front. Yep.
Terin, your wife, and Bret, supportive husband. Terin, you're the vice president of Meg Matters.
Yes.
And Meg Matters is a local charity in Crum, Texas, right?
Yes. We are a nonprofit, a 501c3 that raises funds for mental health support staff in school districts in Crum. And we raise funds also for suicide prevention programs and really just community outreach, getting tools and conversations going within our community about how to have a better headspace for our kids, mental wellness, and just kind of trying to reframe the scariness of mental illness and change it to more mental health and mental wellness and what we can do to get.
Because it's kind of like a buzzword almost now, isn't it? You hear it all the time, but is it really defined necessarily?
Yeah.
I mean, or whoever's saying it might have a different meaning behind it.
Yeah, I think it comes back to like our life experiences and what the people that are in our world that have been impacted. And so everybody's has a different experience with it, and it can be scary if you don't feel like you can talk to people about it. And so that's really kind of behind our mission with Meg Matters, is just to create safe spaces in the community where people can just exist and be okay.
Feel open to discuss things.
Yeah, and just feel supported. It's
interesting because, mental health isn't new. I guess it's been around since humans have been around, whether you had a term for it or not. But, it's interesting when you talk about it with kids because, and I say this to people all the time, you remember your parents when you're growing up, they're like, oh, you didn't grow up like we did, or, things are different nowadays.
Yeah.
But
all got it easy now.
Yeah. But, honestly, that's bullshit. Because if you think about, if I think back, how did my dad grow up? He grew up riding bikes, running around, playing with his friends, playing outside, playing sports. Same shit I did.
Yeah.
Probably the same shit you did.
Yeah.
But our kids
have it very different.
They do some of that, but getting my kids to ride bikes, it's like, what are these? Why am I riding a bike? And I was like transportation when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Maybe kids still ride bikes like we did, but I don't think they do. And they spend so much time indoors. And then, you probably know this better than me, but the studies show, as soon as the smartphone came out and social media came out, the mental health issues that kids experience today are just off the freaking charts.
Yeah.
Compared to how they were when we were growing up. Now, maybe the data's different and we know more, but it's definitely a different ball game in a different world our kids are going up in than we did.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
It has to be.
It's the distractions, the information that they're being fed constantly, from screens and access to things, and like my parents, they grew up, their parents were truck drivers, my dad. And so he like raised himself, right? So when it came time to raise me, and him and my mom were just trying to figure it out and do their best, right? And so the tools that they had.
Everybody has these different life experiences in there, and they've grown up that kind of forms their
existence and what a parent is and what a parent should do and how we emotionally regulate all these things. So,
I mean, he didn't have an iPad to raise him when he was growing up. How in the world did he make it?
Yeah, he had an older sister that took care of
stuff.
But it's
good
just
or bad, right?
Yeah, good or bad. So we're all just figuring things out, and I think part of with Meg Matters, we started our organization in honor of Megan Labrum, who is my dear friend's daughter who died by suicide in June of 2021. And, it's hard to lose anyone unexpectedly. Sure. Like grief is something we can all wrap our heads around, right? The loss of someone unexpectedly, and especially a young person that has like a whole life to live. And so we started this with just the notion of we want to create conversation so that people can get in touch with those things and get tools so that they know how to handle when a kid asks you about suicide, Right. And so like there's so many things that these kids are dealing with, just turn on the news.
Right.
There's so many things for them to deal with. So it's a huge, huge deal, mental wellness. It covers everybody. It covers not just kids, but the parents that don't have the tools to emotionally regulate themselves, which I will first and foremost say that was me. Like sure. Our kids laugh because this guy was raised in a pretty, like he never heard his parents fight. in mine, that was the love language. Like,
oh yeah,
we're making up. That's what that means, And so, just trying to understand like how we can give tools to parents that maybe weren't given the right tools or at the right time or are struggling with things that we have no idea about.
Well, there's probably, there's probably parents out there that are having some mental health issues too. I mean, are you kidding me? I don't know how many. You see these people walking around that their head's in a screen all day, scrolling down social media, thinking that their life sucks compared to their neighbor down the road, totally forgetting that, your online profile in life is
not the reality.
It's not the true story that you're telling everybody it is.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. When we started Meg Matters, that it kind of was born of, Kim walked this road. She first found out that Megan was having difficulties in middle school, and she was called by a school counselor. And just at that time, they really didn't have the resources. There wasn't a social worker there. The counselor's not trained for these things, these situations. And so she walked this path alone and was very guarded because that's your kid going through something hard. You don't want to share information unless it's safe, right?
Right.
And so when
could do more harm than good potentially.
Yeah, because these are kids figuring things out, figuring life out, and you're trying to help them.
Vicious.
Kids,
not knowing it a lot of times how vicious they are.
Oh yeah, amongst themselves.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, we all So it's so when we were figuring out, like for her, she walked this path and was very open with people because she's that's just how she is. She's wants to be there to help others. And me being a close friend of her, I mean, she was getting calls from a lot of people that knew she was a safe place to talk, but it was almost too much for one person to bear, you know? And so that's why we were like, we saw the gap. We saw the need that there were parents everywhere that needed a safe place to go and go, okay, how do I get these resources? How do I make the right decision? Do I go to an ER when I think my kid's in crisis? Or maybe
find other parents and realize other parents are dealing with the same thing.
And yes, and have an open, supportive, network. And so our mission has kind of evolved and changed, but I think what we're good at doing is just showing up and having conversations and seeing how we can identify a need, fill a gap, and work better so that we can have a safer space for our kids.
Okay, so you said a couple things in there. So one, horribly, Meg to Chrome Life, right? And so,
And I want to be educational here. When talking about suicide,
yeah,
it's there's no easy way to talk about suicide. So whenever someone does pass away by that, if you say died by suicide, it lessens
it lowers the died by suicide.
the
So
trigger.
Meg died by suicide in 21,
Yes.
but her mom had recognized issues when she was in middle school, and there was, like you said, kind of a gap. You know, the training wasn't there for the counselors and things like that. So one of the things you said when y'all created Meg Matters was that y'all raised money to hire support staff in the schools.
Yes.
So that's bringing in someone else, because the school, and y'all are doing, like, the school doesn't have budget to do that. It
Yes.
sounds like.
Funding is very tight in schools. I know that's been in the media a lot. You know, even as far as like we have a program that was a suicide prevention peer support group program, and like they raised their rates and are requiring a school to sign a 4-year contract, and schools don't know how they're going to have funding in 4 years.
Right.
So there's problems everywhere with trying to get these programs implemented for our kids.
Does
and
part of it work with like training the current counselors to be more versed in this area, or is it
no, it's just there's a need to have social workers and programs.
like somebody that's specific to this?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Because the school counselor is doing more than
Yeah,
Trying to have kids graduate.
yeah,
Right.
trying to get
get you into college and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So and they have lots of regulations with the state, and
What they
as
can
far
have,
as
right.
the percentage of time they spend on their counselor duties, like they have to have 80% a day, and they have to catalog like everything they're doing. I mean, if you sit down with a counselor, and that's kind of what this has been really eye-opening with us getting into the school districts and understanding every school district is like their own little city, and they run in their own way, and
Right.
and all the things they have to do for the state to get the funding. Your hands you seem like it's tied. We just have to come in as a nonprofit,
Right.
go get some grants, raise some funds through a charity event.
Was it easy to come to the ISD and be like, hey, we want to do this and support y'all? Or were they like, oh, you can't come in here and do that? Or were they pretty open to it?
They were very open.
Crum was.
Crum.
I wonder if all ISDs are different. So I would assume it case by case basis.
Brett grew up in Crum. His whole family grew up there, and so we moved back so we could kind of go back to the roots. And so he's kind
of a Hall of Famer, big deal in Crum, isn't he?
Kind of is a big deal.
Very much a legend.
A legend in Crum.
Have they done have they put a statue out there or anything yet? Like statue?
Just walking to the gym.
Yeah. Okay.
Just walking to the gym.
Anytime I'm mad, I just go see his little high school picture on the gym.
Yeah.
I say, "Oh, you were something."
I was great out of 39 kids. I was one of those amazing 39 kids.
Top 10%.
Yeah, top 10% easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. So he's from Crum. So y'all moved back there.
Yeah, so we moved back, and so he knows a lot of people in the community. I was from Louisville. I'm a fighting farmer.
All right. Yeah.
But we met up there, and so I got to know. But I'm not really great at the whole PTA thing. I got scared out of PTA once because I saw that like only 4 people do all the work, and I was like, I can't. I gotta stay far away.
Oh, Amber was the president of the PTA, and when my kids were in elementary school, that's the same in every place. Yeah.
Yeah, PTA moms are about it. Like, mad respect to PTA moms. But I was like, now as we were doing Meg Matters and getting in with the school district, and all of the organizations in the community are doing wonderful things, and so it's been really awesome. The superintendent, once we really didn't know what we were doing, we just said we wanted to do something. He sat down with us. He met with us several times and was like, let me be your partner in this. Let's work together. So we never felt like any kind of pushback or kickback for what we were trying to do, which was just...
And is y'all's main focus being in the school? Is that like the first and most important piece of what y'all are doing?
The main focus is having the support staff to handle mental wellness for our kids.
At the school?
At the school level.
Is that at each school having this?
So we wanted the whole district to have that. And so there's lots of evolving things with that right now. But we'll have a big announcement soon.
Oh, cool.
But we're definitely having somebody there that's dedicated on staff to work with all the kids
Well, that's got to be, I mean, that has to be a pretty, I would think, a substantial raise to employ someone, you know, at a school, and then multiple people if you have multiple schools. So
Yeah.
y'all really have to.
And then you had to do it every year, right?
Yeah.
In the school, I don't know how much they're going to support, or if any, or if it's come straight from the nonprofit. But
Yeah, and we're at a difficult, like I would love to get into the nitty gritty of the budget and everything, but we're at a difficult time right now in politics with funding.
Right.
So what the school wants to do and what they feel like they can do and what they feel like they might not be able to do next year, it's all different. It's all over the board. And so, so right now we're just really hitting the ground running, trying to bring awareness to what we're doing. We're a 100% volunteer organization, so no one gets paid. So all the funds that we raise go directly to our initiatives.
Right.
So that is really awesome, because when we do go to like Crumb Fun Days, a community event, or, talk on a podcast, we ask anybody, we don't care if you can't donate money, donate time is even more valuable. Just come join hands with us and see what fills your cup, because we want you to have that job helping us do what you feel like you can help and do. So
Right. Well, that's really interesting. So so you focus on kids. What about the people that care for them? Do y'all work with the parents as well?
Yeah, so we do community outreach events like every other month, where we will bring in, we work with United Way of Denton County. We're on their work group for children's behavioral health. And so they've come in and talked with our parents about their free resources that I would love for you to send out in the show notes.
We can definitely put that in the comments and in the post for sure.
Yeah, because that's really, just letting parents know that there are numbers you can call. There are crisis teams in Denton County that will help you manage stuff.
That's got to be a huge part of it. Just people knowing that there's somewhere to go.
Yeah, where to call. Yeah. Where to ask for help, and that's what we found. When Kim was, out in the community, and everybody knew what she had gone through, and people would call her, and so she would be helping people navigate through this process of what to do when your kid's in crisis. And so we know that the need is there. We just need all the parents to be aware of where to send people so that they can get help faster.
Right. So are a lot of the things you're working in the schools, a lot of things you're dealing with, is it, have to do with bullying kind of stuff and people on social media? What type of mental health? I mean, we study mental health, but that can cover a lot of things. So what kind of things are typically dealing with in the school?
So we kind of leave it up to the school, right? We're not physically, me and Kim are not in the school, but we try and bring programs to them where they see it's needed. So an assembly about, cool shoes at the elementary helps anti-bullying, where that's going to be different for them versus what they're needing at the middle school and the high school. But the school district knows what those needs are. We come in as a funding source to get those programs and get whatever the school district feels like they need at that time, and we vet it out. So that's kind of, did I answer that?
I think so. I think I was just wondering if there's typical things that kids are dealing. For what parents might be looking for, are they
signs?
Yeah, my thought would be most of it stems from the way other kids are treating certain kids, because as a kid, seems like the fastest way to go into a mental spiral if you're being ostracized.
Not fitting in. Feeling like you're not fitting in. That's got to be one of those things.
Yeah, online.
But it could be. But it could be their home life too. I mean, there's either one of those two things I think would be the big two.
Yeah, I think we come at it as we have no idea if a divorce is happening in a home that is causing kids distress, if it's a food insecurity, if it's a relative that's come to stay with them that they're not familiar with, that's just passing.
Be anything.
It could be. So it's
or it starts it and then it.
It's easy to say kids at school can be mean. We know that, so we've got.
That's not new.
That's not new. That's been around forever. So now online bullying, that is
a trauma event for the kids.
A trauma event. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it could come from anywhere.
Anywhere. Yeah.
Right. Well, that is, I mean, it's really awesome what y'all are doing and doing it in your local community. You know,
I think that's where it starts, right? It helps to start there at your local community. I think Terin has, and Kim, they have just like, big aspirations of trying to grow this. And how do we emulate this program that we've been able to do in Crum or are working towards in Crum? How can we do it in other school districts and start to see how that could.
Yeah, you build the template and then you can move it. Yeah, it's scalable, I would think.
Make it scalable, right?
Yeah.
And, we think about in business, that's a lot of times what we're trying to do is something that works, and how can we repeat it over and over in other markets, right?
Sure, exactly.
We see that all the time in real estate, and it's kind of the same way with this, just trying to create a program that works, and then, hey, can we take this to other schools and, other locations? And
well, in the school too, I mean, I have to give it up to teachers because I could not do that job. Right. And then, but I mean, they're trying to focus on so many things, teaching the curriculum, all that kind of stuff. So just to add another layer, like, hey, why don't you check on all your students' mental health too? I mean, they can't do that. Or are they even equipped to do that?
Yeah.
So.
And like taking tests, like standardized tests. I mean, that makes people anxious as well. So like even their job that they're supposed to be doing, they know comes with a bunch of anxiety, So they are asked to do not only just the job of teaching curriculum, but they're our kids' mentors. I know when I grew up, my mom was busy working and traveling. And so my teachers, my debate coach, my cheer coach, even my detention teacher that I had to go to detention to.
You never went to detention.
I did. For rolling.
For a potty mouth.
For potty mouth and rolling my eyes.
Talking.
Maybe a little over excessive talking, yeah. But those people taught me valuable lessons that then I was just like, whatever. But as I got older, I was like, oh my goodness, like they were like legitimately taking time for me and caring for me. And so when you see that at a school level, and that is one thing that we have been able to see, working with the school, is like how much these teachers care and pour themselves into these kids. And so you're like, okay, we just need to get them the resources that they need to create safe places for these kids. That school might be their only safe place.
Right. Well, that's I think it's an amazing concept, and congratulations for what y'all are doing. And glad we can bring some awareness to it. And hopefully find some more support for y'all.
Yes.
Wow.
And I hear that Bret's going to be on a quest to win some money for you. Hold on, I got to do my. This is my first wardrobe change I've ever done.
That's your Meg Matters hat to the Bonanza hat. Yeah. Yellow Door Storage will be playing on behalf of Meg Matters. So
that's awesome.
But there's a lot that comes with that, right? And so one of the things that comes with playing on behalf of Meg Matters, because they need the money, is I'm going to have to practice a lot.
That's
between now and then.
And Terin's going to need to give you that space to get the practice in.
That safe space. We
probably need that.
Space is a lot.
And I committed to donate a portion of our winnings if we're so lucky to Meg Matters. So I need to talk to Amber about the practice I need to do to get in shape.
I smell a golf trip is what I smell.
Well, what we're talking about.
In advance of the Bonanza.
In advance of the Bonanza is what I feel.
Well, there could be. You never
Fire
know.
Creek does sound nice.
That's a good training ground.
Yeah, it's a good training ground.
But what we're talking about, if you're not aware, we're talking about the Bonanza at the border. And you've heard it on the show before, but it's coming around. August 22nd through 24th, we'll be back at Lajitas Golf Resort for the second annual Bonanza at the border, and that is a charity golf tournament that I started. Well, the first one was last year. Started the 501c3. We talked about that, which is not a fun process to go through at all.
No, but look at you, pat on the back.
Yeah, we made it. Well, I had some help, but yeah. So we'll be back at Lajitas Golf Resort for the second annual Bonanza at the Border charity golf tournament. And the cool thing about this charity event is you are bringing a team and a charity that you're playing for. So the money that goes.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the way it'll work, because you weren't able to do it last year.
I wasn't able to, but I'm committed to not only playing, but
and now you've got a big lift,
big commitment this year to make up for last.
So the way it works is it's a 2-man team event. So you and a partner, you'll come to Lajitas. Y'all will enter the tournament. There's an entry fee, $4,000 per team, and that covers everything except for your room and your flight there. Covers all food, all drinks, all golf, and that 4,000 is a tax deductible donation to a 501c3, and that's my charity, Nexus Creatus Opus, which stands for Links Charity Works, like golf charity works.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's a tax deductible donation. The tournament's 2 rounds, and all that money that comes in through the entry fees that are made to the charity, that becomes the purse of the golf tournament.
Nice.
And so that money is available to be won from the participating team. So if you're winning your flight, you'll win money from the purse for that, and as a flight winner, you'll be entered into the shootout. And you know all about shootouts, and that's where we take the top teams from each flight, and then they'll compete for the overall championship and additional monies. And so those monies that you win, you will then direct my charity to move that money to the charity that you came playing for. So if you're able to win, then we would be stroking a check to Meg Matters for y'all's continued great work. And so. Yeah, we're looking
What kind
for
of
more.
format you play there? What do you do? 2 ball? Is it a scramble or how?
So first day is 2-man scramble, and that is because if you're there for the first time, you hadn't played the course. Good way to get a view of the course.
Yeah.
You know, from the scramble format. The second day is a 2-man shamble.
Okay.
What's the difference?
Scramble, you play the best shot of the 2 of you all the way through the end of the hole. On a shamble, you play the best drive. You pick the best drive from the 2 partners, and then you play your own ball from there out. So it's a little more individual golf in the shamble, and that's just to give it a little bit more competitiveness and, you know, just make it a little more fun. And people like to play their own ball some, and so it gives you a chance to play the whole golf course on your own. And we do 2-man teams because if you've ever played in a charity scramble, when you finish the charity scramble tournament you're playing in, you shoot 16 under and you think, hey, I did pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you come in there to the banquet after and 27 under wins.
Yeah.
You know, and you look at these guys and you're like, these guys can't even walk. How do they win this thing?
Yeah.
And so
with the money at stake, you gotta
so you got to keep people honest. So the 2-man teams, and you're playing with another 2-man team competitor, and so the thought is that you're not going to let them cheat, and they won't let you cheat, and that we will get accurate winners. And so far, that's proven to be the case. And so, it's a lot of fun. It's coming up.
Well, Lajitas is awesome. I have been to Lajitas. You've taken me there on other times, and
You can't beat it.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
So looking forward.
Even
to
if
it.
you go and totally lose and play bad, you're gonna have a great time. Like it's a win all the way around. And so I'm excited that Meg Matters is gonna be one of the charities being played for.
And there may be other teams that don't have that need a charity to play for. And so,
absolutely. And what we can do there is we can provide some type of information to the teams out there. You know, that this is a great charity to support, and you know, if they're so inclined, they might direct a little bit of their winnings there.
You can kind of direct it in different.
Yeah, our winners last year, who Clint was on the show last week, they won 16,000. They won, I think they got second in their flight, and then they won the shootout. And so him and his partner each had a charity they wanted to support. So the one sent 8,000 to Forerunner Mentoring, which Clint was on last week, and Clint Cooper, I think he sent his to JH Ranch, which I can't remember off the top of my head what that charity does. It's a great charity, I know that. I just don't remember exactly their cause off the top of my head. But point was, they were able to direct it in 2 different ways.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you had 4 charities that you wanted to support, you can split up in any way as you want, as long as it's a good charity and the tournament committee decides if you're a good charity. And everybody brought a great charity, but if you came, to rearm ISIS, we're just not going to do that charity, I mean,
gotcha.
You're going to find a different golf tournament for that.
Yeah.
But
USAID charities aren't allowed. We have to.
Yeah. USAID's doing, they put enough money out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't bring up politics.
I was told not to bring up politics.
Yeah. Just leave it to Bret to bring up politics.
Yeah.
He's going to do it. Yeah. Well, thank y'all for coming on.
Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
Did you want to show this shirt?
Yeah,
before we
it
left?
was for Amber.
Oh, that's for Amber.
Yeah.
Oh, show that on the screen there. This camera here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
This is Mel, our awesome social media and make everything beautiful girl. She designed this, so I wanted Amber to have
Amber will like that. She
Yeah.
will wear that. There's no
It's
doubt.
soft too.
Yeah, it's
and now
real soft.
Joy Grace.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Joy
and-
Grace and Crumb.
And the great hat,
That's
if you
our-
didn't notice earlier.
Yeah,
Yes.
the butterfly.
Thank you for
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
We'll
That
put the link if you
butterfly.
want some mark.
The butterfly is one. Is that her drawing?
Yes, so this butterfly, our logo is
Our artwork.
Megan's artwork. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She was a trumpet player and an artist. One of my favorite stories about Megan is I'm gonna look at the camera
You
for a little.
totally can.
She just was creative and an artist, and she told her mom, I don't want any lessons. I don't want to take any classes because I don't want anybody telling me how to do my artwork.
Oh.
And she legitimately is, her artwork is amazing. So she's a creator and a light. And so we're just happy to honor her legacy by getting the word out that let's just be kind.
Yeah. That's really cool and special. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. It's a definite need. And I encourage all of you to check out Meg Matters website. We'll link to it below this. So go there if you feel inclined to donate. Please do that as well. Well, let's have y'all back on here, in the future, and y'all can give us an update.
We'll
Yeah.
celebrate our
Yeah.
win.
Hopefully, yeah. If you have a win, we'll.
If not, you don't get to go on as many golf trips next year.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, there's motivation.
Definitely motivation.
Okay. Well, hopefully we can
Thanks
do
for
a
having
check
us, Zach.
presentation to Meg Matters on the show after the tournament.
Awesome.
That would be fun.
Thanks for
Thank
having us.
you.
You got it. All right. This has been the Working Title Show with Zach Sams, and we will see you next time.